Order. We come now to the 10-minute rule motion. Mr. Tim Farron.
I beg to move that leave be given for me to bring in a bill to make provision for the holding of a referendum in the United Kingdom and Gibraltar on the proposed terms for the United Kingdom to leave the European Union and connected purposes. On the 23rd of June last year, a narrow majority voted for the UK to leave the European Union. I deeply regret that outcome, but I'm a Democrat and I accept it. But a week from today, the divorce proceedings will begin, and the country now faces a greater period of uncertainty than most of us have ever experienced. Mr. Speaker, one thing is for certain: democracy did not end at 10 p.m. on the 23rd of June last year. The Secretary of State for exiting the European Union himself, not long ago, made the case very eloquently for what is now this proposal from the Liberal Democrats and others. He used the phrase a first mandate referendum and then a second decision referendum. He said, and I quote, "The aim of this strategy is to give the British people the final say, but is also to massively reinforce the legitimacy and negotiating power of the British negotiating team," end of quote. Now, I couldn't agree with the Secretary of State more. It is a great shame the Secretary of State doesn't agree with himself anymore. In rejecting a second referendum on independence for Scotland last week, the Prime Minister said, again I quote, "I think it would be fair to it would not be fair to the people of Scotland because they're being asked to make a crucial decision without all the necessary information, without knowing what the future partnership would be or what the alternative of an independent Scotland would look like." Again, end of quote. Now, she is now asking the people of the United Kingdom as a whole to proceed to forge a relationship with the rest of Europe, and indeed the world, on exactly that basis. A decision taken last June and without, as she says, all the necessary information, without knowing what the future partnership would be. The Secretary of State for exiting the European Union's original case stands. We started this process last June with democracy, so we must end it with democracy too. I accept that we have had our mandate referendum in which the British people voted to leave. But voting for departure is not the same as voting for a destination. And now the government should give the British people a decision referendum to be held when the EU negotiation is concluded, so that the British people have all the necessary information and know what our future partnership will be, because it is the people who are sovereign in this country. The people can and must have their say over what comes next, and this bill would enshrine in law their right to do so. Last week, when debating even the right of Parliament to have the final say on the Brexit deal, the government displayed ludicrous inconsistency and double standards. The Brexiteers asked us to take back control, yet the first thing they do is undermine the principle of democratic accountability in our Parliament by refusing to even allow a meaningful vote in this House. The detail or even the general nature of the deal that this government may reach with the European Union is currently completely unknown, a mystery to us, a mystery to them. Yet the British people are now told that they must simply shrug and accept any old deal, irrespective of its content or its quality. When the deal is done, it will be signed off by someone. The only question is who. Will it be the politicians or will it be the people? My party believes that the deal should be signed off by the people. There were no plans, no instructions, no prospectus, no vision offered to voters by the Leave campaign. Now, I did not agree, with respect, with the case for Scottish independence put forward by the Right Honourable Member for Gordon in 2014, but credit where credit is due, there was a 670-page prospectus of what Scotland outside the United Kingdom would look like. The Leavers did not present the British people with such a prospectus. All they gave us was a lie on the side of a bus. Hardly comparable. The pro-independence campaign in Scotland presented the Scottish people not just with the option of departure, but also with the option of destination. But if the result had, and of course the Scottish people voted against both departure and destination, but if the result had gone the other way, then there would have been no need to hold a people's vote on the final deal of independence from the United Kingdom. Now, I still believe that it is absolutely impossible for this government to negotiate a better deal with Europe than the one that we currently have as a member of the European Union. But these negotiations will happen and a deal will be reached. Surely it is the only right and logical step to take to allow the people to decide whether it is the right deal for them, their families, their jobs, their country. No one knows what the final deal will look like. But what we do know is that the Prime Minister has already given up on the United Kingdom's membership of the single market without even putting up a fight. In January, after months of saying Brexit means Brexit, she finally came clean. Brexit means jumping out of the single market, the world's biggest marketplace, with all the consequences that that will have for people's jobs and for our economy. Now, the Prime Minister is entitled to make that choice. But let us be absolutely clear, it is a choice. It is one of the reasons why I was so astounded that the Right Honourable Gentleman for Islington North and many in his party, but not, of course, all, made the decision to vote with the government on Article 50, because this House did not vote to enact the will of the people. This House voted, if we are to be generous, to interpret the will of the people. And just like the Conservative Party in 2015, in their manifesto, I passionately believe that ending our membership of the world's biggest free market will do untold damage to this country. It is vital for our economy, and that is why my party and others refuse to stop making the case that this deal must include membership of the single market. The Prime Minister had the choice to pursue a form of Brexit that united our country and reflected the closeness of the vote and sought to heal the divisions between Leave and Remain. She could have fought to keep us in the single market if she wanted to. She has chosen not to. She is pulling us out before the negotiations have even begun. Yes, narrowly. The British people chose Brexit, but nobody voted for severance, irrelevance and decline that an unforced exit from the single market will bring. It is this Conservative government that has chosen this Brexit. The government, the referendum vote, does not give the government a mandate for absolute severance from Europe. For 40 years now, the anti-European crowd have been saying words to the effect of, well, in 1975, I voted to be in the common market, I didn't vote to be in the European Union. Well, now we turn that completely on its head, because in June, people narrowly voted to leave the European Union, but no one voted to leave the common market. They were simply not asked. Nor did they vote to place a question mark over the status of their friends, neighbours and loved ones who happen to have been born in another part of the European Union. The inaction of this government and their unwillingness to guarantee the rights of millions of EU citizens living here is shameful. It is absolutely contrary to British values of openness and tolerance to refuse to do so. What I am seeking to do with this bill is to reinforce and strengthen the will of the people, to allow the people to exercise their democratic right and duties by giving them a choice over what we and our children will have to live with for generations to come, to either accept the deal that the government achieves or to say thanks, but no thanks, and opt to remain in the European Union. The gate has been opened, the direction is set, but the only way to achieve democracy and closure for both Leave and Remain voters is for there to be a vote at the end. And if the Prime Minister is so confident that what she is planning to do is what the people voted for, then why not give them a vote on the final deal? What is she scared of? What started with democracy cannot end now with a stitch-up. The deal must not be merely rubber-stamped by politicians. It must be agreed by the people.
Order. The question is that the honourable member have leave to bring in the bill. As many as other opinions say aye. Of the contrary, no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Who will prepare and bring in the bill?
Mr Nick Clegg, Tom Brake, Mr Alistair Carmichael, Norman Lamb, Greg Mulholland, Sarah Olney, Mr Mark Williams, Heidi Alexander, Geraint Davis, Caroline Lucas, Jonathan Edwards and myself.
Tim Farron.
Terms of withdrawal from the European Union referendum bill.
Second reading what day?
12th of May 2017, sir.
12th of May 2017. Thank you. Order.